What's up, guys? Welcome to the Average American Podcast with your host, Nathan Tate. I took a couple weeks off, just had some shit going on, but I'm back at it this week with a new, video. A lot of shit has happened, a lot of stuff is going on. Um, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. The first thing I'd like to talk about, I think, is the Nick Fuentes interview on Tucker Carlson. I thought provided a lot of insight. I've been listening here and there to Nick Fuentes and some of the things he says, clips, all that kind of stuff. But it's nice to hear him on, part of the problem with Dave Smith. He's done Tucker Carlson now, and it's two full long interviews of his perspectives and ideas. And I'll say that, like, while I don't agree with, there's a subsect of Nick Fuentes' beliefs that maybe are even radical or extreme to me. Um, there are things that he makes a very good point of. And one of them is how he was radicalized by Mark Levin based on the voter demographics. And this was back in, 2016. The current way it sits right now is that this country is 59% white. We still hold the majority, but it's slim. And I know that sounds like some kind of white supremacist rhetoric, but it's not what it is. The reality is Anglo-Saxon whites built this country. Okay. The Protestants who escaped from England stood their ground, you know, were they perfect people? Absolutely not. It's tough to judge someone on their merits of, almost 400 years ago. It's like 350 years ago when they founded this originally in 16 50 something, and they built the Jamestown colony, all that kind of shit. The real settling or original settling of America. And I really have a lot of concern for when we become a minority, when there is no flat 50% majority. White people for a long time will probably be the majority. And I don't know if America will ever be majority anything other than white, but 50% majority, the half the population is this, because it becomes an issue for me, because you look at things like with what the liberal Democrats are doing, and or the things they say. I mean, go back to Joy Reid and some other CNN individuals who were talking about the great replacement or the browning of America. I think this happened back around 2015, 2016, Donald Trump's first um term, or just before, where they're talking shit to you about replacing you with immigrants who are other minorities. And it's like, I'm sorry, I think that's a horrendous thing. That's a terrible fucking idea. And I don't know, personally, it's scary because what, they always claim to certain victimhood representations. And let's be realistic. The things that happened in the past are horrendous. Slavery was bad. The treatment of black people, Jim Crow laws, all these things are horrendous and terrible. But you act like we're the only ones who ever did slavery. I mean, I think that's just objectively stupid. I mean, Koreans, I shouldn't even say Koreans, just Asian cultures in general had slavery. They they had probably more aggressive slavery than we did. African kingdoms had slavery. I mean, the reality is that slavery was a tool used by people of an era that no longer exists to build the infrastructure for what we now have in most of the countries of the civilized world. And it's still going on. Let's not act like it's gone. Your cell phone that you tweet out like "I want reparations" or whatever dumb bullshit you fucking shout from the mat to the masses from your living room, is made by slaves that live in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Which, by the way, hilarious. Democratic Republic of Congo has slaves. Democratic Republic of fucking bullshit's what that is. But I'm not here to discuss that. But it just kind of leans to the point of, "Oh, we have to fight for democracy." And it's like the only thing we have that's democratic is our elections. Like they are voted on by a mass of people. The rest of it is a constitutional republic. We have a constitution that sets certain inalienable rights set down for the foundation of what our country is for the people who live in it. And then the republic references the fact that we have elected officials that govern an area and take the opinions of those people in that area and they put them forth in our political system. Now, whether or not they really do that is up for debate as well, but this whole fight for democracy thing. I mean, it's just the Democrats are just out of their fucking minds. It feels like a lot of them. They are so afraid to cast off the 10% of psychopaths. The chicks with dicks and whatever other shit you want to talk about. That's relative to the two spirited or non-binary, whatever other fully retarded shit that you're referencing. They won't disavow those people, and so they can't pull the rational people to their side. I'm not somebody who would switch or flip. I consider myself a centrist, but there's a lot of people I think who are Republican now who used to be Democrat, and they were Democrat because they believed in the values, but the values have gotten so far away from what makes any logical sense, and they're trying. I mean, they're trying to come back. They're cussing. They're doing whatever to try to make themselves look likable. But you're not. You're not likable. As long as Joy Reid is a part of your movement, as long as Gavin Newsom is a part of your movement, AOC, you know, Kamala Harris is still out here saying absolutely wild and dumb shit, still fucking up her words in any type of interview, for that matter. But I mean, that lady was never anything. So, but yeah, they're just, and I'm not here to just bash them because like I've done in several the other videos that I've made. They are not the only ones at fault. I mean, the Republicans are just as dumb in my opinion. Um, it, I mean, these guys think that we're the United States of Israel. It's fucking bananas, dude. If you're paying any attention at all, which I assume you are if you're watching this video. Or if you're not, let me fill you in a little bit that Trump is willing to give Bibi whatever he wants. The ceasefire broke down almost immediately. I haven't heard too much about that, really. Um, but I haven't gotten all the way caught up on all the stuff I listen to, where I get my information from, which part of the problem, Dave Smith, Robbie the Fire Bernstein, um, Tucker Carlson show, uh, Provoked, Joe Rogan, all that stuff where he saw, and even these days, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm becoming more hardcore conservative as I get older, which I still consider myself a centrist because there's things that hardcore conservatives believe that I don't agree with at all. Um, but Joe Rogan really shows his liberal side sometimes, and as much as I love Joe, sometimes I'll listen to the interviews he has. Like, what was that name? Maria von Zeller, I think is her name, or something like that. She's from Spain, Portugal, something, you know, somewhere like that. And just was the other day spewing just stupid, retarded fucking liberal rhetoric about not believing this, that, or the other, that like the people she likes and supports immigrants committed crime, all this kind of stuff. I mean, and she always blames the government. It's like, lady, the government is dog shit. Okay? Less government it should always be the path forward, first of all. And that's part of why the Democrats can't get themselves together. Um, but less government is what you want. I mean, look at the SNAP stuff. Look at all these people. I'm sorry, a lot of y'all are fucking bums, and it's because the system makes you a bum. The system teaches you to be a fucking bum. You have 5 kids, you got no husband, living in rent controlled housing in some bullshit fucking place. It's busted down, looking like a fucking third rate projects. Not even a good projects with a corner store, And they try to give you a Walmart neighborhood market so that you can feel like your place of living is reasonable. I don't know. But you're complaining about not getting SNAP benefits. It's like, bitch, I can't get SNAP benefits if I needed them. If for some reason I suffered an emergency, lost a bunch of money, needed a new car had a ton of repairs, medical emergency, whatever it is, I could not, because I work, qualify for it. And I'm sorry, but that doesn't make me feel bad for you and your poor life choices. You are depending on the government, an entity which gives no shits about your life nor mine. See, and that's the thing that you fail to realize is you think like government hasn't made your life better. You know what would make your life better is having some sense of fulfillment from completing a task or providing some sense of value. Something that would be contributory to society. Because as much as I hate getting up and going to work every day, I know that what I'm doing keeps the wheel turning. So that's the very least that I can live with. I have my other goals and stuff like that, but the reality is that I have bills to pay, and so I need to work, as do a lot of fucking people. But 42 million of you, which, by the way, is what, like 15% of the population in the country? Bums. Fucking bums. And I don't know how many of those are illegal immigrants, getting taxed. And it's like, this is my taxpayer money. They take 22% of your fucking money, and then you're giving it to illegal immigrants and fucking bums who can't get jobs or won't get jobs, who just keep popping out kids like they're just a little baby factory. Like, good lord. And that's the whole point is the government is there to subsidize these individuals who are of low IQ, it seems. I don't want to make that presumption, but that's the way they come across. Low IQ individuals who have no ability to provide for themselves and refuse to do what is necessary to survive like the rest of us. And I'm sorry, that really fucking bothers me as someone who could use those benefits several times in my life. And they just were never available to me. It was always you make too much money. Why? Because I have a fucking job? Bitch, it's first of all, it's not supposed to be a lifestyle. You're not supposed to live off of SNAP benefits, you fucking bum. I'm gonna keep saying that because that's all you are is a fucking bum, in my opinion. But, you know, I don't know what to tell you. It's uh it's just one of those things where if you live by the hand of the government, you will die by the hand of the government. And that means that it's not in your control to determine your own death, essentially. I mean, you talk about, oh, we're going to starve, our kids are going to starve. It's like, that's fucking depressing. It really is. And I feel bad for those children that you're their parents. I do not feel bad for you as the parent. Stop being a fucking piece of shit. It's not that hard. It's really not. Figure it the fuck out. That's what we've all had to do. Stop being a victim. Nobody's out to fucking get you, except for the government who you depend on. And then the more free shit you get, the more you depend on them, the less autonomy you have for yourself. God damn. I mean, this shit just pisses me the fuck off. Because it's this cycle of fucking stupidity. And y'all are the one who having so many fucking kids that you can't afford. Then my taxpayer money, which could build better infrastructure in this fucking country, goes to paying you. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars on healthcare, billions of dollars on fucking, food stamps and other shit like that. And you're like, oh, I don't understand why I shouldn't be allowed to buy soda. Like, shut the fuck up, fatty. You shouldn't be allowed to buy soda because your diabetes that you're fueling through poor consumption of food and poor food choices that you're also teaching to your fucking kids, which then bogs down the healthcare system even more as they become adults and they get overweight. Um, causes everything to become more expensive. Is probably one of the leading causes, if not the leading cause of medical, Medicaid, stuff like that being used is just poor diet. I mean, thank God RFK was able to get in there and do some stuff already. And I hope in his 4-year tenure, whether it lasts for only 4 years or, hopefully he gets in there longer, um, he can do some more things about removing toxic shit that's in our food. No, the vaccines. He's against the no, he's not against vaccines, you fucking moron. All you do is listen to TikToks and read like whatever the fuck they say on Twitter to create and rally up. And then you're like, the vaccines, he wants to take away vaccines. He doesn't want to take away vaccines. That's not at all what it is. We're for the safe practice and the efficacy of a vaccine being that as which it is advertised. Because you should do some research. The vaccine companies aren't be trusted by any. These are the same pharmaceutical companies that killed you know 60,000 people. I think it was the Sackler family did with Vioxx, and then countless more with OxyContin. I mean, they basically had a hand. Shouldn't say had a hand. Began and continued to prescribe what was the opioid epidemic that we still aren't out of. People just, yeah, you're shutting down pill mills left and right, but doctors still pumping out prescriptions. My both my grandparents, both my grandmas have dialysis, kidney dialysis, and it's from medications, man. It's taking too many fuck your body can't handle all that shit. But that's all it is. Pump them out. And these are the same people that you're looking at and you're going, "Oh, um, give me SSRIs. I can't handle my anxiety." Da 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 da. Like there are people with legitimate dysfunctions that are psychological, that may be chemical based, that are difficult to live with. But most of y'all are just fucking pussies. That's just it. There's nothing else to it. You're a pussy. You don't know how to handle your emotions. No one taught you. Your parents coddled you or ignored you or both. And so now you're just this fucking lump that has no idea how to handle their emotions. And it's fucking depressing that I have to coexist with you when you won't try to improve yourself, when you do nothing to put forward any sort of trial and tribulation to further develop your ability to grow as a person. That's the only way that you grow as a person is to go through trial and tribulation. And I'm not a religious person, but that's one of the things that the Bible gets very correct is that, you cannot have good times without bad times. And for every good thing that happens, I think something bad happens to you. And it's not, a one to one, but good shit happens and bad shit happens. I think we all know that. And it's like you guys don't ever want bad shit to happen to you. But it's like if you put in the effort, less bad shit would probably happen to you. But for whatever reason, I mean, you just don't want to. I don't know. I was like that in my early 20s and I get it. I get the victim mentality. I really do. It was easy to say it was everybody else's fault and I don't need to work on me and all these other things that seem so minuscule now in the looks of things. Um but so that's part of what scares me is these whole mentalities, and I'm sorry, a lot of this mentality is related to either really poor people or minorities. Um, and I'm not sitting here saying that the system isn't geared against you, that it isn't more difficult now than it has been in the past. Like all of these things are true, but that's not changing, at least not with you voting Democrat or being like, I can't ever, change the party or even withhold paying your taxes. If everyone for one tax season didn't file taxes, what are they going to do? But none of you have the gall to do it. And it's like, I'm not going to be the person on the outside who stands there. If there was a legitimate movement of people, millions of people who refuse to file their taxes, or even hundreds of thousands, if there's like 100, 200,000 people that refused to file their taxes, you don't even need a ton of people, just that amount of people. What are they going to do? Put us all in jail? No, they don't have the room. Or they might have the room, but that would create an uprising. And I'm not 100% sure that's not what they want, but it may not be part of the plan yet. I don't know. It's very interesting, I think, as we're seeing this unfold, this government shutdown. And the reality is I haven't noticed anything. Other than this snap shit, I haven't noticed anything. Why? Because I don't want to fucking be involved with the government. God damn. It's such a useless fucking waste of money. You need infrastructure and you need someone to set laws, and that's fine if that's what they're there for. But outside of that, what do? They just spend money on stupid shit. They're not even good at diplomacy. How many fucking wars do we have? And then, people champion Trump and they're like, "Oh, Trump, he's stopped so many wars and all this." A bunch of wars I didn't know were going on, and a bunch of wars I didn't really give a shit about because they're not my war. They're not our war. Like, we're not I'm sorry, as someone who has, libertarian beliefs, the individual rights are the most important in my opinion, and, we are not the protectors of the world. We are not the people who should be, interfering in third world wars to try and stop conflicts that exist around the world. That's not our fucking job. And the funny thing is, we've been doing it for so long that we like have no idea how to not do it, while the other nations, China, Russia, are just sitting back, building up their economies, not doing any of that shit. China especially is just fucking, getting stronger economically. The manufacturing they've completely taken over for the most point. And at what point do you say like, what do we do now? You know, I just don't know where we go. I guess my first thought of where we can go is to stop funding foreign wars first. Let's start doing that. Let's get a Ukraine. You stop with the Israel shit. Stop giving Israel fucking money. Stop doing that because Israel consumes like 20, 30 billion. That's paying them. So they're 20 billion that probably funds their entire economy, which we do. And then probably the 5 billion that we probably give to, I would say probably the 5 billion, that's a rough estimate on that number, that we give to Jordan and to Egypt to play nice. Uh, not to mention all the other countries they start shit with Iran, Iraq. I mean, they just tried to pull us into another war with Iran on some bullshit. It's like, good lord. And then you wonder why this public opinion on Jewish people is flipping. And it's like the Jewish people aren't the problem. It's the same thing as here in America. The Jewish government is the fucking problem. And then the Jewish billionaires that have way too much fucking influence because of money. I mean, who was it? Miriam Adelson the other day, personally funded Donald Trump like $100 million on his campaign, and that's a bond paid for. It's like I voted for Trump because I was like, yeah, we need something different, and this guy, his first term was different, and economically it did great. These people who are MAGA, and don't get me wrong, MAGA is better than liberals. Just flat out, MAGA is better than liberals. Because at least with a MAGA person, you could kind of have a discussion. They're still gonna like stand on the Trump train, which is okay. I get it. Um, but I don't know about you. He hasn't had any of the victories I've asked for. Hasn't stopped funding Israel. Hasn't stopped the Ukraine war. I could stop it in one day. Yeah, fucking I bet, buddy. That didn't fucking happen. And um, it's just one of those things, I guess, where you just keep following and falling for the carrot that they dangle in front of your face, and they tell you they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. Better believe it." And then things just don't get better. Housing market's still a wreck. The dollar is still worth shit. BRICS is gaining steam. If you don't know what BRICS is, go look that up because that's you don't hear much about it, and I think that's interesting that we don't hear much about BRICS because they're building a currency to try and challenge the American dollar because our central control over the economic status of most places because the dollar is the base currency of the world essentially. Um, it's I don't know. It's just one of those things that doesn't seem there's any end in sight. There's no economic relief coming. My dollar's not getting me more. If anything, I feel less encouraged by what I've seen. The price of gold keeps going up. The market keeps expanding, which sure you could say that's great, but there's nothing that can exponentially grow and never have a regression. And we've seen small market dips, but no real regression. No, that's kind of what the 2008 market crash is this kind of hard reset on the line, and we're not that far from another one, in my opinion. and I've heard that from people that are way smarter than me. Economists, um, economists, individuals who study and teach it at Ivy League schools that do believe that. Now, whether or not that'll actually happen, we'll see. But that does feel there's a bubble. We're all in this bubble right here, and bubbles burst. That's the reality of it. Um, you know, I get so frustrated. I think sitting there and listening to the government and listening to other people smarter than me talking about the government, and it just feels like I get bent over the railing every year for what? You take 22% of my income, and what does it account for? Nothing. So, I don't know. That's all I got today. I might put out another episode this week to touch some other things I didn't get here, but that's kind of what I've been sitting on and what I've been hearing other people saying. Um, Thoughts, comments, concerns below. Appreciate anybody who takes the time to watch, and I'll be back next week.